Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Rambling Toffee podcast. I am Mark. I hope everybody is doing really well this Tuesday. I'm finally starting to recover from a chest infection which has been blighting me for the last few weeks, and I'm being asthmatic. It's not been pleasant, so I'm talking a bit better, and I'm finally on the mend. I won't be as a season ticket holder. I won't be at the Thursday game. I've decided not to go to that one, but I will be at the Chelsea game on Sunday. But yes, it's been a good weekend as regards results for us. And for me, it's long may it continue. I think it's hopefully we will see that kind of performance again on on our home patch against Newcastle. It'll be tough against Newcastle. They're playing well and they're in form, but hopefully we can be a little bit better at home and get the results finally that we deserve. I just feel that against Manchester United, especially in the first half, we had so many chances that we could have been winning that game in the just on the first half alone, and we could have come away with the whole of 3 points. But obviously, it didn't happen. I think as I've mentioned in the podcast last week, second half we just like it was like down not down tools, but we just like lost our way, and basically United were just in control. I felt in the second half, but with everything that was ongoing, of course, with the marches and with the demonstrations in the stadium and everything regarding that, we had all this passion and drive to get behind not just the team and do, but also to prove how we've been failed by the Premier League and the Independent Commission and how things have turned out the way they are, and of course the financial situation that we're in, at the moment with the takeover and everything else, and all the uncertainty behind that. It just kind of knocked us back a bit, and it was like we need to get back on the horse again and keep on pushing, keep on doing what we need to do, and we got that response on Saturday. So yes, so on Saturday, great result, great performance from Everton against Notts Forest. The team obviously were missing Calvert Lewin and missing Anana, but Beto came in. Obviously, the rest of the team, as per the Manchester United game, and they put in that performance. They were committed, determined. The tactics were set up really, really well. Certain exceptions and certain performances from certain players really came to the fore. I think we're starting to see James Garner becoming more and more pivotal for our team and how we go forward and driving the way we want to go. And he's just going to get better and better. What I found about his performance on Saturday was he was in the right place at the right time. He was getting blocks in, but when he got the ball, one of the things that I liked about him, he was calm on the ball and he was able to pass to another Everton player, and he was able to do that throughout the game. And there was an assurance there which was really, really good. And I thought Gay had a good game as well. He was protective of his defence a lot more, and he did a good job as well. He was obviously part of the setup for Dwight McNeil's goal in the second half with Jack Harrison with the cross going in. But James Garner is starting becoming that figure, and he's such a young player still, and he's just going to get better week in week out. And I think we need to really get behind him, and I think to support him, even if he has bad games, because that will still happen. But I think hopefully if Anana will gradually come back into the team, I think those two together, I think we saw what they're capable together, not just away from home, but hopefully we'll start to see more of that at home and be more and more aggressive in that sense, and hopefully we'll start to see more and more home wins and home and not keep on losing or keep on missing the target. But that's for more for the strikers, but that's another story. So yes, that was it was just wonderful to see. But we can keep on going. The best thing I think is our defensive is getting stronger and stronger, and the more games they're playing together, the better we're seeing that we're getting clean sheets, especially away from home. We have been conceding away from home, but we've always been able to come back and actually get results as we've seen throughout the season. But with Jared Branthwaite and James Tarkowski, Jordan Pickford, of course, he had a couple of saves in the second half. But other than that, he wasn't really troubled by the Notts Forest attack. And I just felt that, with him, with those two, just like solid as a rock. They're just that the community. This is what we needed. As much as the squad is small, everybody's working together. Everybody knows each other. They're playing with each other week in, week out, and they know each other's game. And then knowing what Sean Dyche wants them to do and the coaching team want them to do in a tactical sense and how to play it. And as much as at the moment people talk about Sean Dyche, especially at home, and are concerns with why we're not winning the games and the tactical the substitutions and everything else with regarding that, I think we will see. But is the way how it's been set up away from home and the way it's been in such a way we're getting results. And at the end of the day, that's what it's a results business. We want performances as well. We want them to play fantastic football and doing all that sort of thing. That I think will come in time. But I think at the moment it's just to get results. I think especially with the 10-point deduction, it's just, I think the players now and I think as fans as well, as much as we're going to keep on pushing, you know, corrupt Premier League and putting the banners up and doing what we need to do and put more and more pressure on the Premier League and doing what is right. I think, the players they just need to go out there and just keep on getting the results and keep on doing what they're doing. And hopefully, as I mentioned, we don't get too many injuries in important areas. And we can just continue on and get ourselves in the position that when we come after Christmas and going into the new year, that we don't have to think about being in a relegation scrap or anything like that, and we can stick two things up to the deduction basically. And that's my feeling on that subject. What do you think about it? Do you think are we going in the right direction? Not away from home. Do you think that these performances are going to get better and better, and we're going to continue going in the right direction that way, or are we going to continue to be suffering from performances at home? Be interesting to see what your views are on that. But yeah, it was a great performance, especially defensively. I thought Mikalenko again is getting better and better. Of course, he scored a couple of goals going forward. He's getting more forward than that, but on he was such pivotal in that defensive. He was really really good. I think he made one error. I think in the game. I can't remember when it was, but he again is just growing because he's playing week in week out. Other players, he's comfortable, he knows what he's doing. That's what we need, and that's what's happening, and that's going to grow and grow and grow. And you're starting to see it in the midfield. The interesting thing is also I know we've had a midfield. We've got Anana who hopefully will be back for Thursday. And we talk about that central midfield area. I know there's you got Andre Gomez back. He played for the under 21s the other night. He's back getting to full fitness. I know he's got Seamus back as well on the bench. But in that midfield, we've kind of got players there. As much as what people think about Andre Gomez, is he any good now? Is he past his best? And really, he needs to be moved on. But he's sitting there. He's an extra man. He may not play at all, but if he's there available, just in case we do have a crisis, and it's not the best thing to think about, but he's there. And I know what people's opinion is on Dele Alli. Is he um, good enough when he does come back in? Will he be able to show that kind of player he was when he was at Tottenham? I don't know. The jury's out on him, and I don't know if we'll see him until the new year. I don't know. We'll have to see on that front. But the jury's out on him. If we are ever going to see that player again, watch his space. But it's down to him, and it was down to what Sean Dyche sees in him. If he's actually good enough to be on the bench, being good enough to actually come onto the pitch and actually change the game and do that, we'll see. We'll just have to see and wait and see on that front. But from a perspective from the Forest game itself, defensively, if we don't get any suspensions or don't get any injuries within that back line, then I think we'll be fine in that sense. And the same in the midfield. But we've kind of been okay without Anana being not playing, and got Idrissa Gueye has come in and done an okay job in that position with James Garner. But it all takes for James Garner to get an injury or suspension or something, and it'll be interesting how we actually deal with that situation. and who you would put in that place. It's like Decore as well. He was been running up and down the pitches. He didn't have, I think Decore didn't have the greatest of games on Saturday, but it was more a defensive type of work type of game, scrappy, getting in, getting the ball, trying to doing that role more than anything else. It's like Jack Harrison's performance is very similar the last few weeks with him. Is that he's not he made that cross. He did do the assist for McNeil's goal, but he's just been doing more the teamwork, basically going in and tackling, doing affecting that side of the game than actually making an impact on the game and doing what he is good at and what he's potentially very very good at doing. So we can see it from that point of view. We want to see more of that. So hopefully we might see it on Thursday. We'll watch the space and we'll see it as we go further on in the next few, continuing the next few games and onwards. But that's the way. Dwight McNeil, he wasn't very impactful against Manchester United. I felt it was like he had an injury. And he was still fighting an injury that he had, and he wasn't getting in the way he wanted to do and doing the crosses and shooting and doing the things that we saw what he was doing last season. But he was a lot more pivotal in this game. He had the opportunity in the first half, which obviously got cleared off the line, and then of course he scored that fantastic goal. And I think that's given him a massive boost for scoring that goal. And I think hopefully we'll start to see what he's capable of on Thursday against Newcastle, and if we can make a bigger impact. And we'll have to see if Dominic Calvert will be back in the team for them, for Newcastle and Chelsea onwards, and also if Onana will make any kind of impact as well. But yes, from the Forest game point of view, great. It was a good performance all round. It was scrappy in parts. It was everything that you want. It was going to be like. But at the end of the day, we won again. Another win away from home, and long may it continue on that sense. I just hope we can get our home form sorted. Because if we can do that well and get points at home as well as away, then I think we'll be fine. I think we'll just move up the table. It's just a shame we've got that point deduction. We could have been, I think, on Saturday, if if we didn't have that deduction, we would have been 11th at that point, above Chelsea, who of course won on Sunday. But the amount of money that they spent over the last 18 months and how much we've not spent really that much in the sense of the word, and it just shows you that money doesn't always buy you the success that you want to. But if we didn't have that, we would have been well away from the relegation situation. We would have been looking further up and thinking where we can go next. I think the team would have been a lot more full of confidence to drive that forward. And you never know, you never knew. We'd also, of course, got the Carabao Cup coming up, an opportunity to get to the semi-final if we can beat Fulham at home, and there's an opportunity there to actually win a piece of silverware, which would be absolutely fantastic, and an opportunity to get into Europe. So it's there for us, and I'm being positive. Why not? We have to be positive. There's a lot of noise around the football club, which is very negative. Of course, with the takeover and the people who are going to take over the football club, it seems to be imminent on the next couple of weeks that will be confirmed, and it seems to be 777 Partners. I know there's a lot of negative noise about them, about how they fund clubs and how money is moving around, and so much stuff out there that it's there. But if they are confirmed and if they pass, the directors test and they pass, fit and proper tests, and the Premier League passed them and everything else, and FCA, if they pass them and it's all good to go and the takeover could be completed, then we'll hear about that soon. But I will say, it has gone quiet for the last couple of weeks or so. There hasn't been any kind of stories out there. There hasn't been anything from journalists saying that this is imminent and it's going to happen. I think there's one or two that are saying that it's imminent, but it's not really been put publicly. So we'll see what happens on that front. But we have to drive forward. We have to be positive. So them kind of results that we had on Saturday is what we need week in week out. And if we can keep on doing that, that's just going to drive us on further forward, and we can just stick two fingers up at the Premier League and everything about them, and the way that we've been treated in this case, and hopefully we'll find out more if in the next few months or whenever they decide to give what decision they'll make on the appeal that we put through, and if we'll get anything rescinded. So that'll be when that'll happen. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I'd rather be sorted out as quickly as possible so we can move forward and actually know where we are and everything else. And that means that that punishment has been dealt with, and then we can move on into next season without having that on our backs, and we can start moving forward. If it's with 777 partners taking over, if it's whoever else, it would be absolutely what happens next is they come in, and hopefully they come in and change everything that needs to be changed at board level, bringing the right people in. Hopefully we'll have some money to be able to bring players in January, because I think we do need to strengthen just to get us through to the end of the season, and then we can move from there. We've also got, of course, let's be positive here. Why not? It's worth being positive that all this is all ongoing at the moment. That is going to happen. What will be on that. But we got a new stadium that, as I mentioned before, is just it's getting growing and growing and growing. Is the way when I watched a video yesterday, more seating's going in. The top, the stadium, the roof's being actually covered in now. You've got the screen, the bottom of the turnstiles and terracing are all been getting completed as well, and it's looking amazing, and you can see it it's just going to be complete. When it gets completed, it'll be soon, and we've got, I think it'll be done I would think by the end of this season, I would guess, the way it's going at the moment, and it'll get that handover, and hopefully we can go and test events and be able to sit in the seats and get an idea where we want to sit and everything else like that. It's going to be a positive time. To It'll be sad time in one sense that we move leaving Goodison, because of course it's been our home for such a long time, and all our memories are all there, and all the great games that we've seen over the years. And I mean, I can just reminisce of a time when went with my granddad to watch the Everton v Liverpool game in 1991 in the FA Cup, when it was 4-4, and I was 14 at that point, in the Gladys Street, and the atmosphere was amazing. And it was going back into, we had Liverpool fans in there as well, and it was just an amazing evening. The pitch was muddy and horrible. It was just everything. It went on and on and on and on, and it was such a great performance. But it was also my last game with my granddad before he passed away, so it was always etched in my memory that evening. I wished I was at the game for the Bayern game in 1985. I wish I was there to see the atmosphere at that evening and everything about it. And there's been so many since then. It's just amazing. So I just want to throw it out there as well while I'm talking about reminiscing about Goodison. What was your most favourite game? What was the best game that you went to see in the time at Goodison? And what was what was special about it? It'd be fantastic to hear your views on that. But we're moving into a new stadium, and it's going to be exciting to go into there. It's going to be amazing to be on the waterfront. And the positives, the thing about moving there, of course, when you talk about the finances of money, you've got the plaques that thousands of fans have paid money, including myself, to pay money to actually have a brick around the stadium. And I think they keep on selling more and more, so they can keep on doing it. So we're going to get money coming in from that point of view, and there's going to be corporate side of it where a lot of people, companies, and individual fans are buying out corporate areas, so they can and that's going to be spending money as well. So we're getting money coming into the club already, into the new stadium. So there's money there. So hopefully we'll start seeing more sponsors wanting to be involved with the club because of the stadium, and naming rights may be a thing might be happening in the future, but we need to get there, and we need to get this takeover sorted. We need to get people a bit stability at the club, the right people on the sporting side of things, and we can move forward. But it's going to be sad to leave Goodison, and at the moment when I saw, as I mentioned before, when I saw the blue seats in the new stadium, and I started to, for me, I started to the realization that it's going to be soon that we'll be in there, and the whole routine that you have for each match day is going to change a bit. You're going to be going to a different place to park. You go on a train. If you're going on the train, you'll be getting a different way to get to Bramley Moor, and it's just going to be very, very new experiences. But I hope when the team goes into there that we're in a better place. We're in the Premier League, of course. We're in a stable place. We haven't got any kind of PSRs against us or any kind of breaches going to go against us about our accounts and everything else. And we can just feel positive that we are going in the right direction, and and also have a team that's going to be going into that stadium that will be we could be proud of, and that we'll be able to go out there week in week out and put the performances that we want from them and vice versa. And I think that unity that we currently have, hopefully it will continue on and on and on, and we can get right behind, even if it is 7-7 partners or whoever else comes in, to get behind the club itself, and let's all move forward in the most positive way possible. But I've said about the 7-7 partners, there was a concern there, of course, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not big on finance and anything else. I listen to some great people like Paul Esk, John Blaine, and many others who, you know, I listen to them and I trust what they're saying about 777 partners, and about the takeover and everything else about that. And I just want it to go according to plan and everything to be right. And that's what we all want, I think, as fans. Um, and I don't want to really talk about it all the time. I want to talk about the football team. I want to talk about the players that we bring in and the young players coming through from the under 21s, and being optimistic and positive about the players that we have, that we potentially can move forward. And it'd be great that even if we have an opportunity to win a trophy this season, because there is an opportunity there, and to get into Europe as well, and an opportunity to get there. And it'd be great again to be see our club finally start moving. But at the moment we're in the middle of, we're at standstill. We're not moving forward yet, and we need to know as soon as possible that we can. We need it to happen sooner rather than later. So that's my view on that. I just want to put some shout outs before I finish for the day. I want to put a shout out to at 1878 for all the great work that they've done, especially for the protest, the atmosphere protest that happened before the United game. I was involved in that as much as I wasn't feeling great. I was in the crowd and getting behind that. It was well organised. It was peaceful. It was thousands of fans just giving off what we felt about the Premier League and about everything that they're doing, and the way that they, you know, treating Everton Football Club and treating the fans, and the way that we feel at that point in time, and the way we still continue to feel. I want to put it out to them and anybody else. Dave Kelly, I think, with Fab, and everybody else who was it part of and involved in any way possible to organise what was going on outside, but also what happened inside, and organise it in the right way. It will continue again on Thursday. I know it was great on Saturday in the Forest game. The away fans, it was amazing. The noise, it was like Everton fans were the home team. It was just amazing how you know every home and away game I think we're better than every fans in Premier League and beyond for the support that we put behind the team. I just think it was amazing. But it's just a shout out to them, the organisation. It'll continue on Thursday, it'll go on Sunday, and it can keep on continuing on. And that kind of demonstration that we did, and kind of protesting what we did in the stadium, it works. It gets it out there. It's just a shame that Sky Sports decided to not show the plane going over Manchester City match, and not to talk about it, not to do anything about it, and to try and push out the noise and everything else, and not show pictures of the corporate signs that were put up and everything else, and not really talk about it. And for me, that's just agenda led, and it's appalling. And I have enormous respect for Alan Myers, who is a reporter for Sky Sports, and he's been fantastic for Evertonians and everything he says. He's been a massive supporter of, but as a program for Sky Sports Premier League and for what they did, and not to try and uh, give any kind of conversation and try and hide the truth of how we felt. It is wrong, and it just shows that they have their relationship that they have with the Premier League is of what it is. And of course what happened yesterday, of course, with Sky Sports agreeing with the Premier League to pay this certain amount of money for the rights for the TV coverage over the net from 2025 to 2029. So yeah, it for me it was disappointing, and I just hope. I know Sky Sports News do talk a little bit about it, but they're not. They've not put after the United game. They were too busy speaking about Canacho's wonderful goal, which it was, but they didn't want to talk about anything about the protests. And if they did, they didn't show any pictures or anything from what happened in the stadium before the kickoff. And I think that's just a shame, and it just shows what who the editor is and what the agenda is all about. But we keep on going, and we'll keep on putting it out there, because we know that the coverage has been picked up by the Americans, American TV coverages, and print and national media and local media, of course, are reporting it and getting it out there as well. I also, just before I finish, want to shout out to Andy Burnham, who has sent out a really good message, the letter to Alison Britton. I think she's the chair of the Premier League, with the points from the investigation from the independent commission report, and mentioning all the things that a bit odd and a bit baffling about how they came to the decision of giving us the 10-point deduction. So big shout out to him, and I hope we'll hear more about that at some point, because he put it out on Saturday, the statement. Sent it to Alison Britton, and I've not heard anything since. So either she's not, because last time when he did the original, she sent it obviously to certain journalists to put out the story about, oh, this is how we came to deduction, this is how we had to do this, da 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 da, when didn't really answer the questions that Andy Burnham was asking. And this time he's come back to him really with more of a detailed view. So yes, we'll see. We'll find out more about that as hopefully this week or as we go on. I also want to put out to Will Hanrahan. He's on social media if anybody wants to follow him. He's been with somebody he knows who's a lawyer, and there might be an opportunity, if the points deduction stays, that we can sue the Premier League for what's happened with what their decision making and everything else going forward. So we'll find out more about that. So yes, on that note, I've rambled on a bit too far today. But yes, I'll be back on Monday for hopefully a lot better, to talk about and review the Newcastle and Chelsea games, and hopefully I'll be another positive game, a positive report, and positive reviews going forward. And hopefully we'll find out more. Hopefully we might find something about the takeover as well, and so much more. So on that note, I want to thank you all for listening. Please give me as much feedback as possible, and guidance. And into the new year, there'll be a second program being created. So watch this space on that. So for now, thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. All right, take care. Bye bye.